Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra. In Kumasi, we are on Love 99.5 FM and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions. We are on Clenham Radio. In Ho, we are on A1 Radio in Bolga, Tanga, Radio Max in Takrady, ATL FM in Cape Coast. You can go digital on Spotify, myjoyonline.com app, also live on Facebook. In this edition, as flooding continues to wreak havoc in Accra, Joy News intercepts document which reveals the Finance Ministry has ignored requests for funding to address the problem.
As President of the Republic, I will not allow the selfish acts of a few to jeopardize the collective futures of the rest of us.
Also this afternoon.
No, there's a lot of potholes on the way, so you have to do something about it.
It's a death trap. Because look at it, you can't call this potholes.
Users of Accra Tema motorway describe potholes as death trap with iron rods sticking out of concrete. We hear from the Ghana Highway Authority, which is racing against time to prevent deaths.
The lifespan of this bridge is done. No, we are going to fix that. This is the most serious one. So that's what we are doing. And that one will take about 2 weeks to finish this whole exercise.
The time to act is now, not hints of growing pressure from teachers to begin series of industrial actions as their living conditions continue to deteriorate.
We believe that the time for government to respond, particularly because of the issues of the human security, which could have serious implications for national security, we are saying that the time to act is now o'clock.
We'll also hear from a security analyst who says Ghana's national security setup not fit for purpose.
Intelligence gathering in Ghana is concentrated in the big cities. Ghana is a relatively big country, and when you go to the towns, the villages, the hinterland, there is virtually no intelligence gathering going on.
We have details as residents in high-risk areas admit they fear the possibility of imminent attacks.
It's a worrying development because if you look at our neighboring countries, they've been experiencing it with the possible imminence of terrorist attack.
In sports,
Otto Addo is unhappy with Black Stars' draw against Central African Republic on March Day 2 of the African Cup of Nations qualifiers.
We have that and more in this afternoon's edition of the Midday News with me, Emefa Apawu. Many thanks for choosing us. We are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Many thanks for your company once again. Let's settle for details. And on May 25, President Akufo-Addo announced a set of measures to end the perennial flooding of Accra, including sanctions for district, municipal and metropolitan chief executives responsible for these breaches that result in damages from flooding. The president further set up a desk in his office to monitor the implementation of the measures to be taken. But Joy News is learning the Finance Ministry has ignored several requests for funding to enable the Works and Housing Ministry to end the perennial issue. We have exclusive details for you, but first, listen to President Akufo-Addo on the issue.
It is obvious from recent events that more needs to be done to deal with the situation permanently. And as has been rightly stated by the hard-working Minister for Works and Housing, the Honourable Francis Asenso-Boakye, Member of Parliament for Bantama, in his address of today, government will continue to work towards the day when Ghanaians, especially those in Accra, will live in calm and tranquility through the rainy season. Metropolitan, municipal and district chief assemblies have been charged to ensure the obstructions to the free flow of water, as well as developments along waterways, are removed immediately. MMDAs are also to ensure the strict adherence of developers to the planning laws of our country and sanction staff who have issued permits for structures to be built on waterways to serve as a deterrent to others who seek to engage in such acts. To ensure these directives are strictly complied with, I have established a monitoring unit at Jubilee House that will be reporting directly to me on the progress of the implementation of these measures. I'm thus putting all MMDCs on notice. You will be held accountable for any breaches the resulting damage from flooding. As President of the Republic, I will not allow the selfish acts of a few to jeopardize the collective futures of the rest of us.
President Akufo-Addo last month on the perennial flooding issue. Well, it didn't end there. We're told that there was a presentation to Cabinet, and also there's been an impasse between the Works and Housing Ministry and the Finance Ministry over funding. Presidential Affairs Correspondent Elton Brobe joins me in studio with details of what we are gleaning so far from Cabinet and that's a row between the two ministries. First, Elton, let's talk about the briefing to Cabinet on the subject of flooding.
So the document we have intercepted, highlights the inadequate engineering drains in the country, the inadequate capacity of some drainage infrastructure, example, undersized culvert, uncontrolled settlement development leading to increased construction in waterways, inadequate detention ponds and wetlands, as well as solid waste deposition in drains. Now, the document that we have intercepted also give an estimated cost of $5 billion for fixing our drains network increase with each year of underinvestment. The benefits of investing now far outweighs the cost according to the document, and also the value of assets at risk in the Greater Accra region alone stands at $3.2 billion, and the document said that it could quadruple to $12.8 billion by 2050 if steps are not taken now to improve the resilience of the country against flooding, and by extension the total value of assets at risk across the country could run into tens of billions of dollars. This according to the document that was presented to Cabinet in August 2021.
Okay, so did this presentation offer recommendations to actually fix the problem?
Of course, Emefa. So if you check the documents as we have it, it references requirement for flood risk assessments and drainage strategies for new infrastructure, and they source hydrological authority to facilitate this particular recommendation. Also, promotion of uptake of sustainable drainage system and increased investment to build and enhance flood resilience. Now, there's also a futuristic plan that has been announced by this document, and for example, in 2021. They were hoping to construct 29.3 kilometers of drains at a cost of 888.3 million Ghana cedis. 2022, this year, 97.16 kilometers of drains estimated at 2.3 billion Ghana cedis. 2023, 107.8 kilometers, 2.5 billion, and 2024, 117 kilometers at 2.7 billion. And according to this document, if government should go by this strategy, we shouldn't have any flooding in Accra by 2024, Emefa.
Okay, so I've heard you mention a lot of figures in terms of how much we need for which particular work to be done. So let's talk about the entire situation and how we are hoping to end it. How much money really is required to end it?
So my investigation is that after this cabinet presentation, the President gave the minister the go-ahead to write to the Finance Ministry to request money to start work so that we would avoid the flooding we are experiencing now. So this letter we have intercepted is dated the 4th of June 2021 and it's addressed to the Minister of Finance. The headline is Application for Commencement Certificate for the 2021 Emergency National Flood Control Program. Now, the letter reads, the Ministry of Works and Housing wishes to apply for the issuance of commencement certificate to commit the government of Ghana to the tune of 888.3 million Ghana cedis for the implementation of the 2021 Emergency National Flood Control Program to address the serious flooding challenges being experienced across the country. Now, stormwater flooding has become a perennial occurrence and a major problem affecting many communities in the country. This situation is imposing untold hardship on the inhabitants and adversely impacting on their livelihoods and sustainable living. The economic cost of doing nothing will be too much for the nation to bear. And accordingly, the Hydrological Service Department in a letter, the number is quoted, dated 21st May 2021, in this attachment identified and mapped out the key intervention that needs to be undertaken, taking into consideration other ongoing intervention to avert these calamities under the proposal for the 2021 National Flood Control Program. Now, the objective of the proposed interventions are to mitigate the perennial flooding within the communities, prevent disruption of vehicular movement during heavy rains, provide means for safe conveyance of grey water, mitigate damage for infrastructure facilities, and mitigate the displacement of peoples within the flood-prone areas. It should be emphasized that previous investment under 2018 and 2020 National Flood Control Program have played a significant role in minimizing the risk of flooding in the major urban centers of the country over the 2029 rainy season. Now, the letter concludes by saying that the above situation has necessitated implementation of the 2021 National Flood Control Program, which is proposed to be undertaken in two parts. Excavation, the silting works, 94.8 million Ghana cedis. Construction works, 793.5 million Ghana cedis. And kindly find out the proposed list. We hope the ministry can count on your prompt consideration of the request. And this is signed by Francis Asanso-Wache, the Minister for Works and Housing, and dated the 4th of June 2021.
And since then, have we heard anything from the Finance Ministry? Has the money's been released as requested?
So according to our sources, there was no response to this first letter. So on the 11th of August 2021, the minister again sent another letter to the Finance Ministry. And again, it says that in the letter referred above, the Minister of Works and Housing applied for the issuance of commencement certificate to commit the government of Ghana to the tune of 888.3 million Ghana cedis for the implementation of the 2021 Emergency National Flood Control Program.
Okay, and outlining the same request that was made in June 2021.
It says, we wish to respectfully draw your attention to the fact that time is of the essence in the flood control program. Our consultants will require adequate time to complete detailed design and then go through the procurement process ahead of implementation. Construction of each project will take 5 months to complete. For us to achieve beneficial use of this investment, they need to be completed before the onset of next rainy season in April 2022. And again, provide the cost: construction works 793 million, excavation, the silting 94.8 million. Again, signed by the Minister for Works and Housing, Francis Asanso-Wache.
And still no response to the second letter as well?
Again, no response. So on the 2nd of June 2022, another letter, the same body, the same headline, the same request, again went to the Ministry of Finance, reminding them of previous two letters requesting for amount of almost 1 billion Ghana cedis to tackle challenges that is resulting in the flooding of the city. And no response from the Ministry of Finance.
Well, I'm sure we are still checking from the Ministry of Finance as to why there's no response so far to this. Elting is on that beat for us, and you can read more on this particular story on myjoyonline.com. And when we get a response on the Finance Ministry, we'll bring that to you. Now, Asin Central MP Kennedy Ohene-Agyapong says the governing NPP could have retained a good number of its parliamentary seats in 2016 if non-minister MPs had been awarded contracts. This, he explains, would have ensured that the legislators had enough funds to undertake projects as well as campaign in their constituencies. He was responding to questions by participants at the NPP USA branch delegates conference on why the party lost parliamentary seats in the central region. The governing party went into the 2020 polls with 19 out of the 23 seats in the region, leaving the NDC with just 4. By close of polls, the NDC held 13 seats, leaving the NPP with 10. Mr. Agyapong said, aside from the MPs not having funds, some were very arrogant.
One person in MPP can get a contract of 300 million because he has a godfather. When MPs, I suggested that every MP, the non-ministers, should be given 3 million cedis contract for them to get 300 to man their own constituency. They didn't. In Central Region, you are talking of Central Region, not a single trunk road was constructed in Central Region in the first 4 years. And they did not blame the president, they blamed with the MPs. 3, the arrogance of the MPs themselves. Myself and Alex Markin, we hired a guy to do a survey for us. And it was scary. We knew that all of them were going to lose. And the guy said, I will get 57.6% because of Rose. And this hospital, one district, one hospital. The regulation is that once you have Roman Catholic hospital, they are not going to give you. So they didn't give Fosu. That became a challenge. And the guy said, I will get 57.6. I got 57% because of the roads. I got the 57% because I had money to do projects myself. These other MPs that you're talking about, they didn't have anything.
Well, the legislator has also described as needless divisions in the party along the lines of commitment to either Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia or Trade and Industry Minister Alan Kojo Tremantin.
My policy is I can work with anybody, and trust me, we have a sharp division. Alan Bawumia, to me is rubbish. If you are a Democrat, why wouldn't you want somebody to contest? You call yourself a Democrat. If you don't want anybody to contest, be a dictator and let us know.
Well, a former NPP presidential candidate aspirant, also Dr. Arthur Kennedy, has meanwhile questioned the ability of the governing NPP to win the 2020 polls if fighting corruption was a key issue for voters.
Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, first inaugural. What's stuck in most people's minds is, I shall protect the public purse. And then he said, those who are coming into government to make money will be sorely disappointed. In 2024, if just like 2016, the election is decided on protecting the public purse or corruption, are we going to do well if the election is decided on protecting the public purse? Thank you.
Well, that's Dr. Arthur Kennedy there talking about the 2024 polls at the NPP USA branch delegates conference over the weekend. Now, let me take you to the Tema motorway because motorists there say that numerous potholes and other hazards have rendered the motorway a death trap. The road is so deteriorated that iron rods are seen sticking out of concrete. The Ghana Highways Authority has classified the situation as an emergency and is working around the clock to prevent deaths. My colleague Michael Ashale has spent time on the motorway to experience at first hand what motorists go through. Here's his report.
Gridlock on the Accra-bound section of the Tema motorway. Portions of the road now laden with potholes.
No, there's a lot of potholes on the way, so you have to do something about it.
It's a death trap. Because look at you can't call this potholes. So.
Many drivers usually ply this road on top speed, but not today, especially in the area around the abattoir. This bridge is one of many constructed along the highway to serve as a conduit for rainwater. Since it was constructed, the bridge has never been renovated, posing a danger to commuters. From above, the metal plates are exposed with cracks and potholes. Underneath, beams vibrate and some concrete layers have gone off, leaving the iron rods exposed. The Highways Authority has declared this bridge and others as a case of national emergency.
It has begun to show some failure because the lifespan of this bridge is done.
Aaron Amponsa is the lead engineer with the Ghana Highways Authority, asked to fix the bridge.
No, we are going to fix that. This is the most serious one. This one is okay. We have done checks and some tests, and so we have about 3 or 4 on this stretch. So that's what we are doing, and that one will take about 2 weeks to finish this whole exercise. It's an emergency, so that's why we are working in the weekend. Tomorrow too, we will be here.
About 200 meters of the Accra-bound section of the road has been cordoned off to make it possible for workers to fix the bridge. On the first day, this resulted in a gridlock, leaving many commuters frustrated.
The traffic will be about from Tema roundabout up to here. Traffic easy. Almost 1 hour and
the road is very bad. The road is very, very bad. We are suffering in this road because they are not doing the maintenance. I'm passing here every day. The potholes and the things is very bad. We are suffering in this motorway.
But Aaron Amponsa says they have plans to deal with the traffic congestion for the next 13 days.
We were anticipating the traffic. We have put in a traffic regulation measurement. We are going to divert to the other lane.
The Roads and Highways Authority is pleading with commuters to bear with them as they work round the clock to save the situation. For Joy News, Michael Ashale.
Let's take a quick breather here on the midday news. Our top story so far: flooding continues to wreak havoc in Accra. Joy News intercepts document which reveals the Finance Ministry has ignored requests for funding to address the problem. We've been bringing you 3 letters from the Works and Housing Ministry to the Finance Ministry, yet no response. On return, we have sport, and then the time to act is now. Not hints of growing pressure from teachers to begin series of industrial actions as their living conditions deteriorate.
We believe that the time for government to respond, particularly because of the issues of the human security, which could have serious implications for national security, we are saying that the time to act is now o'clock.
We'll also get to hear from a security analyst who says Ghana's national security setup is not fit for purpose.
Intelligence gathering in Ghana is concentrated in the big cities. Ghana is a relatively big country, and when you go to the towns, the villages, the hinterland, there is virtually no intelligence gathering going on.
Yama Wakwaba, but Akwaba Magic Busia, brand new channel, Tia Roba, Emuno Chiao, our DSTV channel 149 and the Go TV channel 108. And Yanom Akwaba Magic Busia, and the Niger Ghanaian programs mu Baufi, able to set the day to have and to hold. And Yom Senior Cassia series and a talk show, Bemoaka TV sets Nichi. Akwaba Magic Busia, our DSTV access to your 50 Ghana cities per and the Go TV value to your 25 Ghana cities per Ebusia Akwaba.
Many thanks for your company. Let's do sports. Hotel.
Ghana was held to a 1-1 stalemate by Central African Republic on March Day 2 of the 2023 African Cup of Nations qualifiers, and head coach of the Black Stars, Otto Addo, said he was not happy with the performance of his boys.
We have, to be honest, it's difficult now to say this is the first team, this is the second team. We have good players. They play in good leagues. It's also the first match very, very close to series. It's not like some players are here and some are here. This is not the case. So they're happy to get a point, and we're not happy, but we played well. We didn't lose. Surely we want to win our home games, and as we see also now with Angola, it's difficult to play away sometimes, and it's different if you play at home. The fans are behind you. This is they're pushing you. Sometimes this is different, you know. So we want to make sure it will be a different game, and we want to make sure that we win our home games.
That is Otto Addo, head coach of the Black Stars.
Thank you very much, Muftau. Now, international relations analyst Michael Kwejunketia has warned that a surge in terrorist attacks in Nigeria could increase migration to Ghana with negative economic and political implications. The Ghanaian economy, we all know, is yet to recover from the negative impact of COVID-19, and we are also told about the impact of the Russian-Ukraine war on it. Nigeria has come under persistent attacks by terrorists and armed bandits. A church shooting at the weekend claimed dozens of lives. Speaking with Love FM's David Akwete, Mr. Nketia warned that the possible collapse of Africa's biggest economy has dire implications for the West African region.
Currently, it appears that Nigeria has lost the fight against armed insurgents, and the country, excuse me to say, is on a very, very dangerous path, which, if not halted, could lead to the destabilization of the entire sub-region, because if there is chaos, if there is war in Nigeria, we are talking about over 200 million people moving from Nigeria to any other country in the West African sub-region. Already, economies are suffering from the onslaught of the COVID-19 pandemic and the recent Russia-Ukraine war, which has also led to inflation across the sub-region. And imagine Ghana with our current energy and security challenges. Imagine Ghana trying to create a new abode for about 5 to 10 or 5 million Nigerian refugees. That's going to be a very difficult toll on our economy. We need to prevent this now, else the repercussions are going to be very costly.
Meanwhile, fear and anxiety has heightened in Nigeria after gun attacks on the St. Francis Catholic Church in the town of Owo during Sunday service. So according to eyewitness, gunmen fired into the congregation and kidnapped a priest as well as other churchgoers. Nigerians say they do not feel safe at all. Listen to Nigerian journalist Babab Tunde Koiki earlier.
It's one of despondence, it's one of fear, it's one of severe heart palpitations, because like I said earlier on, nobody knows where the next attack is going to take place. Nobody in a million years believed that a passenger train was going to be hijacked. Nobody in a million years believed that an airport was also going to be attacked. Nobody in a million years believed that a time will come in Nigeria where buses will be hijacked on the highway and passengers dragged off for kidnap and ransom. So it's quite tough times that we're living in Nigeria, mainly because of the security situation. As I speak to you, not even the Nigerian state can predict where the next attack is going to happen.
Nigerian journalist Babatunde Koiki. Here in Ghana, Ghana's national security setup is not fit for purpose. That's the verdict of security analyst Dr. Ishmael Norman, whose 2021 study established that the country's intelligence gathering system are centralized in the capital, Accra. The Ministry of National Security recommended increased surveillance and patrols in part of the northeast and upper east regions, following what it calls suspicious movement in those areas. Residents in and around these areas already say they are worried that terrorists could strike soon.
No, we are not in the normal times. Therefore, now things have changed. So we have to also change our styles of kind of a relationship in the community. So the first time we come across strangers, we don't have to open up to them. We have to treat them as kind of a possible element of terrorism so that we can stay safe in the community.
It's a worrying development because if you look at our neighboring countries, they've been experiencing it with the possible imminence of terrorist attack. In Ghana, I think it's a very worrying news. It used to be abstract, but it is as close to us as just about Togo. So it's something that is quite worrying.
Well, this worry may be legitimate, at least according to security analyst Dr. Ishmael Norman. He's been speaking on the Super Morning Show.
A study that we did just last year about this time, the outcome was that 85% of Ghanaians that we questioned basically concluded that intelligence gathering in Ghana is concentrated in the big cities. Ghana is a relatively big country, and when you go to the towns, the villages, the hinterland, there is virtually no intelligence gathering going on, or very little is going on. So this is the gap that the terrorists will take advantage of. If ever there was an attack, it probably will not be in a big city. It will start from, some isolated communities.
So what exactly could account for Ghana not experiencing any attacks like its neighbors? You can listen to Dr. Ishmael Norman.
Present, then you can see that I believe that the only reason why we've been spared after Togo, Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso, I'm surmising that the only reason why we've been spared so far is because of the wise decision made by ex-President John Mahama to accept those two Guantanamo Bay prisoners in Ghana. It made Ghana almost like not a supporter of terrorism or terrorists or alleged terrorists, but it made Ghana a very good neighbor to have, even if you are a terrorist.
Dr. Ishmael Norman there is a security analyst. Well, the Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, is asking government to immediately respond to issues of human security in the public sector as a result of the rising cost of living. General Secretary Thomas Musa has been speaking to Joy News.
We believe that the time for government to respond, particularly because of the issues of the human security, which could have serious implications for national security, we are saying that the time to act is now o'clock. Don't let us take these things and delay it. And I've already indicated there is an easy come, and you will say we will not respond. It will not help anybody. Moses could not go to the promised land because of what? Water. When the devil confronted Jesus, he tells you 10 stones to bread. These are basic necessities that when a human being is confronted with these things for a very long time, the temptation could be high. The workers felt that, look, things are not going the way they expect and all that, but we keep on giving them hope. But in as much as we are giving them hope, the Ghana National Association of Teachers believe that the time has come that we draw the attention of government to it, particularly because we are dealing with the issues of national security and human security being one of the things that teachers are going through now. We are saying that let us address these issues now.
Thomas Musa there, General Secretary of NAT. Well, a group calling itself Coalition Suffering National Service Personnel are demonstrating today over unpaid allowances. They say they've not been paid for the last 3 months, which is causing financial hardship due to recent price hikes of foods and services. And that's how we wrap up today's edition of the Midday News. There's more when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Get more to reason. Ghana has not been attacked by terrorists. Dr. Ishmael Norman. Also, Nigeria church attack. Entire country in shock. That's according to journalists. War flogging, victims, male love affairs, losing sight, lady unable to go to work. That and more on myjoyonline.com. I am Emefa Apawu. Many thanks for your company. Living Word with Pastor Mensa Otabil is up next. Please stay.
Hello, please, am I speaking to Miss Joanna Kuma?
Yes, please.
My name is Philip and I'm calling from MTN. Someone has just sent you money and we will need you to enter your PIN number so that we can put the money in your account.
Hey,
oh, Dada, MTN will never ask you for your PIN. Never reveal your PIN to anyone under any circumstances. And if you